From Evan, if you could go back and change one thing business-wise about your LTT or NTIX experiences, would there be anything, or what would it be?
Ooh, man.
That's a big one.
What would you change about us?
It's hard because I try not to think that way too much, because if you think that way a lot, you're just going to wallow in regret constantly, and that's not actually a productive thing to do.
Wow, Luke with the life tips here.
I'm just saying, you can reflect on actions and like try to use those to inform future actions, but saying that changing the past would necessarily be a good thing is questionable. I think with Floatplane, to talk about Floatplane, either starting off plan with the knowledge and the planning that we were going to be more general, or starting off harder.
Sure.
Because, and this is one of those things where like we didn't have it was impossible for us to know this. We were going to run into this when we started Floatplane. We had no competition, and now our competition is Patreon video and YouTube memberships, which are pretty monstrous competitors. So having no competition, we were like, oh, we can just like keep it lean and mean, and
we have time.
There. Yeah.
We ran out of time.
We ran out of time. Yeah. So knowing that we were going to either be multidisciplinary, which I think is great, or pushing maybe harder at the beginning, I think would have maybe both been better. But then at the same time, like the road that we went on left us with a very skilled development team that was able to scale and ended up doing fantastic things later on. So maybe doing those things would have been detrimental. I don't know. So yeah, I don't know. That's somewhat of a non-answer, but yeah.
Yeah. As for Linus Media Group, man, there are things we absolutely could have done differently or better. I could have hired earlier. I could have, I don't think I could have put in more hours, honestly, especially in the early days.
Yeah, no.
We got by, like, we just like barely dodged so many disasters
this is even more of a non-answer, but I would almost say there's things that like, I don't know if it was luck or effort, but I'm really happy they went the way they did.
Yeah, like when we got kicked out of the house we were using as a studio, right as we had already closed on a proper commercial space, so
like
we were going to have somewhere to go.
That was so narrow. Like,
yeah, like I shouldn't have done it earlier because it didn't hamper our growth in any way to be there. And I definitely shouldn't have done it later because we would have literally been thrown out on the street. But like, what else can it, and so the major moves like that, what could I have changed?
Yeah.
Nothing. I'm not saying I did everything perfectly. Absolutely not.
But
I could have taken a different path.
You have to sometimes fail to learn.
Yeah.
So like, I think the things where mistakes happened, I think because I would like to say that we were productive about those mistakes. I
wish I had a better vision.
But then like, that's like impossible, right? So like, I don't know.
Sort of. I mean, some people, look at the vision Mr. Beast has, for example. I didn't have a vision like that.
But that was never you. And I think that's okay.
Well, I just mean like he has a path. I didn't have a path. I was like, best case scenario, we've got like 4 or 5 people and we're self-sufficient. I wasn't even thinking about the company being profitable at that point. I just meant like we'll be able to pay everyone's salary and we'll like bro out and play with tech. That was my end game.
I think you exchanged that goal though. Because like at one point, like you said, that was your end game. And then we sort of got there. And then we were like, no, the stars.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe that was a mistake. Maybe I should have taken my time. I don't know. Like, I don't know at the end of the day what I'm going to look.
It's hard to evaluate what the result of those changes would be.
SJ Watt says should have invested in crypto. Okay, sure. But that's not like to do with running our business.
Yeah. That is fair.
That's fair. Not that I'm saying that you should go in now. I don't know. I don't want to get involved. I only have what we've mined in the lounge for like pizza nights, which we now do every 2 weeks. You got to start coming.
I didn't even know that. Okay.
Yeah. Chase organizes it. And so what we're going to do is we're going to rotate it so that it happens on different weeknights on each cycle.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
So that everyone should kind of get a chance to come at some point or another.
Yeah, I like that actually.
Thanks for watching and subscribing to this week's clips. Now, you might know me as the WAN Show producer, but did you know that I'm also a lover of popcorn? That's why I want to give a special shout out to Sizzle for sponsoring this week's clips. Take a snack break, relax, watch some more clips, and get 10% off your first order of one of Sizzle's 6 delicious flavors using the link down in the video description. Delicious.